Most people think they're broke because the system is unfair. Wrong. You're broke for one of three reasons. You're lazy, you're stupid, or you're arrogant. And the scary part? Most people aren't the one they think they are. Now this part is going to offend some of you, and that's fine. Because if you're too fragile to hear uncomfortable truths, you're definitely too fragile to become successful. If you're not willing to accept the truth and learn from it, you're going to stay exactly where you are. So let's start with the first reason people stay broke. They simply do not pay attention. And I don't mean they're blind. I mean they move through life without thinking. Every day they spend money without asking a single question. They buy coffee. They buy clothes. They buy subscriptions. Click, pay, walk away. No thought. But here's the truth most people never realize. Every time you spend money, someone is teaching you how money is made. Think about that. You cannot create money. You are not the Federal Reserve. You are not the government. Governments print money. All of us, we take money from businesses, from customers, from markets. So the easiest way to learn how to take money is to study every time someone takes it from you. Next time you buy something, stop. Don't just buy it like every broke person on autopilot. Ask questions. Why did I buy here? Was it convenience? Was it branding? Was it price? Is there competition nearby? Could someone do this better? Let's say you buy coffee. Why this coffee shop? Is it location? Is it speed? Do they sell breakfast? No breakfast. Interesting. They're leaving money on the table. Look around. Are the chairs uncomfortable? Is the line slow? Is the service bad? A strategist walks into a store and instantly starts calculating how to beat them. Rent cost, customer traffic, margins, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. Because the moment you start thinking like this, you realize something shocking. The problem isn't that there are no ways to make money. The problem is you don't have enough time to execute all the ideas you start seeing. Money isn't rare. Awareness is. The second key to making money is your network. And this one is brutally simple. If you don't know anyone who has money, how exactly do you expect to learn how money works? Think about it. If you sit in a room full of ice cream experts all day, what do they talk about? Ice cream, flavors, production, storage, marketing, distribution. You sit there long enough, you're going to start understanding the business of ice cream, whether you plan to or not. Knowledge spreads through proximity. Now apply that to money. If you spend your time around people who are broke, what are the conversations about? Bills, rent, problems, complaints. But if you sit around entrepreneurs, investors, builders, the conversation changes. Now people are talking about leverage, markets, business models, opportunities, and suddenly your brain starts working differently. You start seeing things you never saw before. This is why people say your network is your net worth. Everyone repeats the quote. Almost nobody lives by it. People say they want success, then spend all their time surrounded by people who have no ambition, no ideas, and no direction. That makes no sense. Wolves don't hunt alone. They hunt in packs. One wolf has one set of eyes. A pack watches every direction. And when opportunity appears, they move fast. The same thing happens with money. One mind sees one opportunity. 5 sharp minds. Now you're seeing 5 angles, 5 strategies, 5 opportunities. That's how money multiplies. Not through isolation, through powerful networks. Now we get to the uncomfortable part. Because once you understand awareness, and once you understand the power of networks, there's only one question left. Why don't you have the money you want yet? And the answer is simple. There are only 3 reasons someone is broke. Lazy, stupid, or arrogant. Now, before you get emotional, remember what I said earlier. Some of you will be offended. Good, because if you're not willing to hear uncomfortable truths, you're never going to change your situation. Let's break it down. First, lazy. A lot of people are simply lazy, and they don't like hearing that. They say things like, I work hard. I work 8 hours a day. 8 hours. You think 8 hours is enough to compete in the most competitive financial system in human history? You're competing with billionaires, with hedge funds, with corporations that operate 24 hours a day across multiple continents. And you're telling me you work 8 hours and deserve to win? That's not how competition works. Money is a race, and if someone is running faster than you, they get there first. That's the reality. Now, the second reason is stupidity. But here's the interesting thing. Very few people are actually too stupid to become rich. You don't need genius intelligence to make money. You need awareness. You need discipline. You need the ability to see opportunities. The truth is only a tiny percentage of the population is genuinely too unintelligent to figure things out, which leads us to the real reason most people stay broke: arrogance. Now we arrive at the real problem: arrogance. And this is where the majority of people fail. Not because they're lazy, not because they're stupid, but because they're too arrogant to learn. People walk through life believing they already know enough. They sit next to people who are more successful than them. And instead of listening, they start talking. Imagine sitting across from a millionaire or a billionaire, someone who has already built what you're trying to build. And instead of asking questions, you start explaining your opinions. That's arrogance. If the richest man in the room starts talking about money, you should shut up and listen. Ask questions. Absorb the information, because clearly he understands something you don't. But arrogant people refuse to do that. They think they can figure everything out alone. They believe they don't need mentors. They believe they don't need guidance. They believe they're the smartest person in every room. And that mindset keeps them exactly where they are, stuck. Because the moment you think you know everything, you stop learning. And the moment you stop learning, you stop growing. Success requires humility. You have to be humble enough to admit that someone else knows something you don't. Once you do that, doors start opening, knowledge starts flowing, and suddenly the game of money becomes much clearer. So let's simplify everything. There are 3 keys to making money. First, pay attention. Most people walk through life blind. They spend money without thinking. But every time someone takes money from you, they're teaching you exactly how money is made. If you start paying attention, you'll realize something very quickly. Money is everywhere. Every building you see is owned by someone. Every restaurant, every business, every skyscraper. Millions and millions of dollars moving every single day. The problem isn't that money doesn't exist. The problem is most people are not good at taking it. Second, your network. If you surround yourself with broke people, you will only hear broke conversations, complaints, excuses, fear. But if you sit around people who build businesses and make money, your mind starts expanding. You start thinking differently. Opportunities become visible. Your network is not just your friends. Your network is your environment, and environments shape outcomes. Third, remove your arrogance. This is the biggest one. If you think you already know everything, you will stay exactly where you are. The moment you accept that other people know things you don't, you start learning faster. And learning faster is how people escape the system. Because the truth is simple. Money is not rare. Opportunity is not rare. Awareness is rare. Discipline is rare. Humility is rare. And those who develop those qualities are the ones who eventually win the game. So the real question is simple. Are you paying attention, or are you still walking through life blind while someone else takes your money?